Greetings, YouTube. My friend Amelia recently sent me a link to a page that contained pictures of Slittens. So what's a Slitten? A Slitten is a sloth's face that has been photoshopped onto a kitten. Obviously done for humor, because people find both sloths and kittens adorable. I have to agree. I find sloths and kittens adorable. But then I began to think about it in terms of role-playing games. In particular, post-apocalyptic role-playing games. So what did I come up with? Well, I actually came up with a scenario, and I'm looking for answers for it. So here's the scenario. Slitten should be achievable sometime between now and the end of the century. Maybe not in my lifetime, but just shortly beyond it. So I'm thinking 2050 to 2100. Alright, so Slittens become possible. And not just possible, they become uproariously popular. They become the most popular pet in the Western world. Well, first world nations, because they may have expanded by then. There may be lots of places that will have middle classes in the future that don't have middle classes now, if we're smart. And they look like kittens. They never get any larger. They always remain kitten size. And they have sloth faces, and they are vegetarians. Because if you're going to have a sloth face, you might as well tack in the digestive process as well. That means they're much easier to feed because you don't have to use meat. So you've got these adorable little creatures, always adorable little creatures. They're slow, they're cuddly, they're goofy looking. Everybody loves them. And then the world ends. For whatever reason you want. Pick your favorite method of ending the world. I've become very happy with the idea of nano bots that were designed to help transhumanists become who they want, break free and start converting everyone to something that isn't human. And then the laser platforms are overtaken during the chaos, and anything that has a radio signal on the planet is destroyed. So suddenly there are no radio signals in our solar system, and so we are driven to the pre-radio age technology level in a world that is now populated by lots of things that aren't human. That's the current scenario that would be my go-to for any game I were to run. So, world ends. What remains of humanity, in a much broader definition of that word, struggles on. Now, you would think something as cute and adorable and slow as a Slitten would be one of the first things to be wiped out. I mean, they served no purpose. They were just adorable pets. But they don't die off. They stick around. Now, my question to you is, why? Why do the Slittens survive? Is it nefarious? They have always exerted a certain kind of control over humanity, but now it's just more prevalent after the war, when people are beginning to really ask, why are these things still here? Or maybe they're not asking why these things are still here. Maybe the control is so great that the Slittens have just exist and everyone just assumes they're going to forever. Is it less nefarious? Do they serve a useful purpose? A purpose that nothing else will. What is that purpose? They're not being used as food items. They're remaining in their role for a role they had originally before the war. At least the role that they were designed for. Maybe they're a new role. But they're not being kept for food because they're just not a great food item. Much better food items out there in that size category. Chickens being one of them. Rabbits. Guinea pigs. So why do they survive? Do they have some ability? Have they become so ingrained that people just keep them around? Is it benign? Is it malevolent? Or is it just because they're adorable? I had a friend run a Gamma World adventure once. We found this village, and it had this really great Dunwich horror vibe to it. Like, we wanted to know why this village was in such great shape, and how they were surviving, and yada, yada, yada. And it was Stepford Wives kind of vibe. And everyone wore Ray-Bans. So eventually we discover that there's something nefarious in the village. I can't even remember what it was. And battle ensues, and we were able to successfully escape from the place. And upon escape, I asked my friend, why was everyone wearing Ray-Bans? And he responds with, they're really cool. So sometimes the reason something exists is not malevolent or benevolent. It just is. So, tell me, why did the Slittens survive the end of the world as we know it?